South Africans have been warned, and this has come from inside South Africa, but also in other rugby playing parts of the world. South Africa has been warned of the hubris displayed by England ahead of the 2019 World Cup final. Everyone had written South Africa off, everyone from Clive Woodward to everyone from a sports analyst to your average punter, writing South Africa off in the 2019 Rugby World Cup final. And tomorrow night it is the rematch in a Rugby World Cup. Nick Mallett, former Springbok coach and also analyst for SuperSport. I know you bring very sober analysis to your TV commentary, Nick. And are we falling ourselves into the same trap that England did 4 years ago ahead of a Rugby World Cup final in 2019? Basically saying all South Africa needs to do is show up on Saturday night and they walk into a Rugby World Cup final, possibly against either New Zealand or Argentina. But let's be honest, it will be New Zealand in a Rugby World Cup final.
Good morning, Lester. Thank you for having me on your show. I really don't think that our coaching staff will allow the players to go into this game with any sense of overconfidence. I think the comments coming from Rassie have been extremely respectful of this England side, whatever Clive Woodward says, one would argue that the opposite would come true, because he thought there were going to be 4 Northern Hemisphere sides in the semi-final, and there are only one. So he's fairly critical and particularly critical of South Africa. So I would take his comments with a pinch of salt, but from our point of view, I think we have beaten them comfortably the last time we played, and that was Eddie Jones's last game. What's important to understand is that Eddie Jones was trying to get England to play a certain way, which was more like New Zealand, perhaps more like Australia, ball in hand, phase plays, and putting pressure on the opposition by retaining the ball through multiple phases and through a skillful play between backs and forwards. But what Borthwick has done when he took over, and he's the new England coach, he took a look at all the statistics, and he found that England were very poor at everything. They were poor at scrums, poor at lineouts, poor at the ruck speed. They were poor in defence. They had a poor kicking game. And so I think what he did, and he's a very pragmatic guy who played captain England and is a lock forward, he went back to the basics and he decided, listen, we're going to try and get our defence, improve our set pieces, improve our kicking game. And in many ways, that's exactly what Rassie and Jacques Nienaber did in 2019. Our side was very much a territory-based team, and it was also a set-piece and minimal risk-based team. So it is a big challenge this weekend. I mean, obviously people believe we are firm favourites, and I would say we are going in there as bookies favourites. But from a psychological point of view, I think the players know that they're going to be up against a team very similar to Wales, the Wales team that played us in the semi-final of the 2019 World Cup.
I wouldn't say we are a battle-worn team. We are a battle-ready team. The Springbok management have been quite effective in rotating squads, rotating players, so they are ready and they've been in battle, whether it be games against Ireland, Scotland and France last week. England, on the other hand, had the easiest pool of the Rugby World Cup. Chile, Samoa, Japan, Argentina. Who do you think is more ready in terms of battle fitness for this weekend?
Yeah, there's no question that our pool was far tougher, and we faced more difficult opposition. We've had to raise our emotional levels, particularly over this last weekend against France. And it's always difficult to replicate from one week to another the same emotional intensity. But England this will be their big game. So they've cruised through. They're unbeaten. They beat Fiji, which was arguably the easiest quarterfinal, and so their whole focus is on this game against South Africa. So it's a little bit of a banana skin game, but I do know how Rassie prepares his teams, and there's absolutely no way that our team is going to go onto this field, thinking it's going to be just a walkover. You just have to pitch up and we're going to win the game. We're going to have to work really hard for it, and I believe that's the strength of the Springbok side, is the ability first of all, they're all what Rassie calls warriors. They fight. They've got battle stats. They don't ever give up. And we've got a really good strength in depth in that we can use a bench. And our bench who come on often lift the intensity of the match as opposed to some other teams. When the bench comes on, you don't really notice much difference. So these are key aspects of our game that I think will carry us through this tomorrow.
Nick, you've taken a Springbok side to a World Cup semi-final in 1999. We lost to Australia in that game, and then we beat New Zealand in the third place playoff. Just talk to me this level of mixed emotions of losing a semi-final, and this is not going to happen to South Africa this weekend, losing in a semi-final, and then having to play in a third place final a week later, the wooden spoon or the kiss your sister award at the Rugby World Cup.
No, it's an absolutely horrendous prospect for a team. You go to the World Cup, almost every team goes there to do as best they can and also hopefully to win it. And we were really well placed. I believe that at that time South Africa and Australia were the two best teams, and we faced each other in the semi-final, and it went right down to extra time. So we gave it our all, and unfortunately came out on the wrong side. So the terrible feeling you have in the change room after the game is you just don't want to play that game. You don't actually want to have anything more to do with the World Cup. You're so disappointed and depressed. And you're very upset, obviously, because you feel that you've let down the South African public. We have a very strong feeling in the Springbok camp that you represent the South African public. And when we lose, we know what an effect that can have on people's moods. So what I did two things to get the guys focused on that third and fourth place, which I think did work. I gave them 3 days off completely. I said I don't want to see them. We played on the Saturday. I said I don't want to see you on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. We'll get together on Wednesday for a captain's run, and we'll play on Thursday. So we'd had enough training, enough practice. We knew what we were going to do, but I said, you guys need a break from each other, and off you go. And then the second thing I said was we'll make it a game to celebrate Henry Hariball's career, who was an outstanding flyer for us. It was his last game for the Springboks. And I said, guys, don't play this game just because we have to. Let's try and play it to say thank you to Henry for such a brilliant career that he had. And the players took that to heart and played really well, and we managed to beat New Zealand. But it really is, Lester. It's not something you want to try and contemplate. You want to win this semi-final, and you want to go through whether we play, and it's probably going to be New Zealand. But you want to make sure that we can be in the final against them, which will be an outstanding final. I mean, really, we've played the fifth best, the third best, the second best. Now we'll be playing New Zealand. I think they're the fourth best. So we'll have beaten. Well, we didn't beat Ireland, but we got through our pool. And to win it, we have to beat the best. So this game on Saturday is critical from that point of view. Arguably, it's one of our easier semi-finals we've had because the side of the draw, the A and B pool, are so strong that the games we saw last weekend between Ireland and New Zealand and South Africa and France, honestly, they should have been semi-finals. They were such great quality games and such great teams. But it is it is what it is, and you just got to face up to this game and get through it. And I do believe we will and we can. And I mean, the support of the public is going to be absolutely critical. I know that we've got not only does SuperSport show some fantastic coverage of this, and I'm very excited to be in studio. I can't wait to commentate on this game and analyze it, but also you've got the zones, the malls, and I know the Canal Walk will have these huge big television. You can go and stand with other supporters and enjoy the Chiers and at Kenilworth, also in the Kenilworth shopping centre as well. So there are many places you can watch the game and support the Springboks and just have a fantastic time. I mean, I really do believe we're going to get through this game. It'll be tougher than people think. I mean, look how close those quarterfinals were, all of them. There's no walkover when you get to this stage of the competition.
Looking forward to that. Nick Mallett, former Springbok coach.